All right, guys, now for the Afro. The Afro is a very important technique to know. I'm glad you guys are learning this. You can apply these same steps when you're doing a flat top haircut or even when you're doing a thick beard. You guys are going to learn how to do a thick beard in this video as well. The first thing you want to do is pick the hair all the way out and make sure everything is nice and evenly picked out. And then from there, you're going to kind of like hover over the hair. First thing we're going to start with is our Andis Masters close, all right? And we're going to hover over the hair and we're going to get all that hair that sticks up. You bring it down to the desired length that the client wants. In this particular case, he only wants about a half inch over the hair. And you just want to kind of graze it, all right, guys? Um, you just want to make sure that you're staying on top as you see me doing, all right? You want to make sure you don't go deep into the haircut. That's how you make bald spots into the haircut. And you just want to hover it, and everything goes to the middle of the head, like I said in Barber Quest 1 with the Caesar, and like I said in Barber Quest 1 with everything else. Um, that's your guide. You'll never go wrong. You'll never be uneven if you take everything towards the middle. And what I'm doing, you see, everything's going towards the middle. I'm starting from the side, and we're basically just grazing over the hair, all right? And you have to use the blade, all right? The blade is what's going to cut the hair, basically. When I say use the blade, I mean concentrate on using that blade, like the teeth of the blade when you're hovering over the hair, right? As you see me just concentrate on using the teeth of the blade, because if you're not looking at the teeth of the blade, you might just go in by mistake too much. So I'm like basically looking at the teeth while I'm grazing the hair. And you'll see it's a lot easier as long as you look at the teeth. So always stay in front of your machine when you're doing this. All right. What I mean when I say in front of your machine, in front of the blade, and look at what the blade is doing at all times. Because if you look away from the blade, you're basically going to make a mistake and end up making a patch and going too far in. All right. As you see me, I'm looking at the blade at all times. And I'm watching the hair come off and fall off. All right. You can kind of see me in the mirror right there, and I'm like looking at the blade. All right now, at this particular point, I'm not, but this is due to my experience. But if it was you, you should have stepped around and looked at the blade, basically. Um, as you see me right here looking at the blade, same thing. I'm basically hovering over it, and I'm looking at the afro from a side angle to see all the other hair that I took off. If you see me stepping back and looking at it, I'm looking at the side that I already grazed, basically. And I'm just taking my time and going over it. All right. And this is, like I said, this is a good technique to know, because this is going to help you when you do flat tops. When you do the top of flat tops, this is going to be a different kind of shape, basically. And very important. As you see me looking over in front of the blade right now, I'm looking at it and making sure that my blade doesn't go into the hair. All right. Simple, but you just have to, you know, concentrate on what you're doing. All right. It's not an easy task, but you can definitely do it with practice and over time. All right. You guys just want to make sure you get it nice and even, and make sure it's nice and round. If it was a flat top, it'd be nice and square. It would be the same concept. Um, and it's just, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just like a Caesar, except you got to make sure the wire is not in the way of the client. Right here, you see me bending the ear. Same thing. You have to get around that ear, and you got to be very careful. Like I said, you see me standing in front of the blade. And right now, I probably got my head tilted over a little, looking at the blade. And like I said, due to my experience, I might not have to look at the blade. But I want you guys to make sure that you do that at all times. All right? And you just want to make sure it's nice and round and any stragglers hanging over. Um, like I said, very simple task, but effective. You're going to need to learn this when you're doing thick beards, when you're doing, like I said, once again, flat tops and even afros. All right, this is just a good skill to have. You never know who's gonna walk through the door, what type of client is gonna walk through the door, and it's just something that you guys have to know. You could put me in front of any type of hair, and I've learned how to cut any grain texture of hair. All right, from the straightest hair to the toughest hair, to the coarsest hair, basically, to cut. All right, same thing in the back. You just want to make sure it's nice and round. All right, guys. And you see me flicking my wrist and throwing the hair out the way. I'm pretty much getting the hair up out of there, so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Basically, use the flicking wrist technique that I showed you. Even when you're fading, it's the same thing in every way. You want to get that hair out the way. You don't want to build too much hair on top of that machine. Um, And you just want to, take your time with it, guys. Like I said, go around the ears. You see me bending the ears all different ways for you guys. That's very important. You have to bend the customer's ear to get around it. So everything else will look nice, and around the ear, it won't look straight at all. All right, guys. And you see me backtracking. You always want to backtrack your work, and just make sure you go over everything, guys. Okay. And here's another trick. Right in the front of the hair. This is how a lot of people get the afros nice, and this is even you apply the same technique with a flat top. You just want to same thing, shape up the front. I mean, shape the front. I apologize, and go across the front right here and make it nice and round, as you see me doing. And then what really brings out the afro is when you get a nice clean shape up, or you can even someone if someone has a tape up, same exact thing. Even a fade. Some people have fades with like the little mini afro on top. This is something that you guys really, really have to learn. Like I said, take your time, practice. Don't just watch, but study this DVD, guys. All right. Good luck. There's your afro after the shape up. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.